Hey guys, how are you? Okay, we're going to be putting together a 3-inch vodka still. Okay, this is going to be going out to someone, so I'm just going to make this very short and sweet. This unit's coming with 15-gallon keg, two 1500 watt elements, plenty of power to get this thing charged. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through this. First thing, everything's numbered. You'll see numbers on the back here, and there is a dot. Everything lines up from behind the still. There's a dot on the keg, and everything lines up with that dot on the back of the keg. Because there is a slight tilt to this for a reason, so you get no flooding in the unit. Okay, so every unit's numbered 1, 2, and 3 with a dot. Just line up the dots. It's all easy. Okay, so what we're going to do, first thing, when you do receive this, guys, it becomes fully packed with copper. And I'm just showing you basically what I do with these guys. Everything comes fully packed, all copper mesh, no stainless steel. Okay. And this strips most of the impurities out of your wash. Again, if you're doing which I'll show you later on after this still can be transferred into a pot still, and you probably take out most of the copper meshing for the pot still. Okay, so first thing we do, okay, number 1, number, lines up with the dot on the back, gasket goes on, line it up as close as possible to the dot on the back of the keg. Okay, grab a tri-clamp, put it on. Okay, number 1's on. Okay, number 2. Again, everything's fully packed with copper mesh. Again, don't forget the gasket, like I already did. Okay, line up the dot. You're going to see number 2 on the back. There'll be a dot. We'll line up both of these guys. You can have 2 people do this, or 1 person. Once you get used to this, sticking it apart and putting it together, it's quite easy. A lot of people, the reason I've come up with this design, because a lot of people wanted a still like this to not only get high ABV, but they wanted to have a pot still as well without purchasing another still. So basically I've made it a modular still, so you can transfer this still to be very large, to be a pot still. So this really came up from the customers. Okay, number 3. What we're going to do before we connect number 3 is we're going to be putting in the condenser. The condenser here, I don't know if you can see this, it's actually 3 spirals. There's 2 spirals and 3/16 inside, and then you have a 1/4-inch spiral on the outside. And you see the connections here. I haven't marked these, and I will do it before it goes out, but these will be color-coded to go with the hoses, which are color-coded as well, to make it simple. Okay, so put that guy in. Okay, that's all ready. I'll lay that down. Okay. Always make sure that the blue part of the tap faces outwards. Putting the tap on, putting the 90 on here, and you may want to use a bit of plumbing tape on this as well. It's really up to you guys. You may have a slight leak if you don't use plumbing tape. Just put it on the thread, it'll give you a nice seal. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, next thing we'll do is we'll fit the hoses. Like I said, everything's color coded. Okay. All these are compression fittings, brass flares. What I'm saying, compression fittings. This makes it simple to dismantle and put together. Again, I would use 2 spanners and slightly tighten these as you load it with water. and time it to stop the leak if there is any leakage at all. Okay. Of course, the red indicates that warm water is coming out of it. Again, these will be color coded, and the blue is where the cold water enters. It's all very simple. Turn that around. The white pipe has garden hose fitting, so quite simple. Okay, so that's all ready to go. Okay, now we'll load this up. Okay, gasket. Okay, again, that's I don't know if you can see it, but it's copper meshing in here, all the way up to here. Again, if you're going to do those micro distilleries, if you're going to do a gin or a flavored rum or a flavored vodka, whatever it may be, you can actually load this section up with your botanicals. Okay. Okay, the height of this unit is around about 8 feet. Actually, it's over 8 feet. It's about 8.5 feet, I think. Okay, again, going to the top unit, I would have 2 people doing this. You definitely want to drop the top. Okay, turn this around. Again, I want you to line up the dots at the back of the unit as close as possible. Okay. Go. Okay, now we're putting on the condenser. You see that there is a slight kink in this top part because we want it kinking out a little bit. That's ready to go. Okay. Okay, your blue hose will be fitting on this unit here, coming from the condenser out. Okay. And now we have the water going in through this unit. Again, all flare fittings. Makes it very simple to put together and dismantle. Go. Okay, so that's the unit put together. So you see how quickly it's put together. Most important thing, thermometer. Again, another flare fitting. Has your gaskets in here. Goes into this unit. Just slide that on. Thread it down. Okay, turn facing the thermometer downwards so you can actually see what temps you're at. And that's it. As you charge the unit, once you start to come up to temp and you start having vapors through here, you may have a bit of leakage through the gaskets. Just tighten down the tri-clamp and that will cut out the leakage. And again, same with all the flare fittings. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we have a parrot here. This will give you a reading for the ABV. Okay. There we go. That'll go into your jar. Most important thing too, guys, I've done this many times, when you do have your proofreader, when you do put it in here, most important thing, the good thing about this, prime it with distilled water. That means pour distilled water in here, bring the water level up to this unit, so when you start to bring your takeoffs, what it needs to do is we need to take out the air out of this unit. So if you don't put any distilled water in this, what will happen, and it's really up to you. If you want your takeoffs, you may not want to use it. You might have your takeoffs go into a separate jar for the first 150 ml in this regard, and then put this unit here and then start your run. But definitely bring it up with distilled water. Take out the air bubbles, so when the product does go into this unit, that you don't have any air lockages in here. Another thing too, why we put distilled water or water in here, is so when you drop the alcohol meter in here, that it doesn't hit this bottom and shatter this glass unit. You don't want that. You don't want that to happen. So that's it. So that's your parrot. Okay, so we'll put that down here, and this will give you a reading, a clean reading, all the way through the run. Okay, so we've got that. What we're going to do now is I'm actually going to just take the unit apart here, and then to show you how to transfer this 8-foot still down to a pot still. So if you're doing a whiskey run or a rum run or a brandy run where you want to keep your flavours, you don't want this length because you'll be doing a lot of stripping here. But this unit would be great for producing high proof alcohols, like your vodka especially. This will easily produce up to the 92, 94, maybe going to the 95s. When you want to go the higher the proof, it's all about liquid management. You have a tap up here. The further you turn this back, the more reflux you call within the unit. And the more reflux will bring up the higher proof of the alcohol. If you're going to keep this unit like this at this height, and you want to do a stripping run, which they class as low wines, or your first run, you can keep that tap fully open, facing towards you, and this will just vacate everything through with no reflux. And you'll probably have your proofs around about, you know, the high 140s to 160, depending on the proof of your wash. That's really about it. And if you want to take this thing to another level, you can put a turn tap between this hose and the condenser, and you can do a cooling management. So the colder that you run the condensers, the cooler the liquid when it hits the condensers, the cooler that liquid will be that will come down here. And what that's doing, it's playing with your proof, the proof of the product coming through here. And that's another part of it. It won't confuse you. You can work that out. Do a lot of reading on cooling management. It's quite simple. That's about it. So this is a complete unit. This is a vodka unit. It's a 3-inch. The 2-inch Alchemist comes like this as well. It comes in segments, so you can actually change the height of the still to your pleasing. And again, we do this in a 4-inch as well. So we have the 2, the 3, and the 4-inch. And I think that's really about it. I think I've covered everything. If I have not answered any of your questions, just please leave an email on YouTube. But that's it. Quite simple. If you're running ethanol, the copper meshing in here, again, you don't need to clean it every time that you do an ethanol run. You can keep it running, and just when you start to see that there is a product change in the volume, that is, then put the copper mesh into a citric acid, clean it with that for 15-20 minutes in lukewarm water, 2 tablespoons to a gallon of water, and then when you've done that cleaning, then neutralize those acids by using a baking soda. And again, same process. You know, add about a tablespoon of baking soda to a gallon of water, and that will neutralize all the copper meshing. That's really about it. If you ever want to keep your still clean, again, a lot of people are saying that you can use vinegar. You sure can use vinegar, or you can use grass soap, whatever it may be. One thing I will go through, when we're running our water through the first condenser, you know, it usually takes around about between 350 and 450 mils a minute, and it's really up to you guys. It's how cool you want your product to run out. As long as it's not steaming and as long as it's not too hot. The hotter it gets, you'll get a false reading, because they say the base temperature of ethyl alcohol is around about 60 Fahrenheit. So if you have a product coming out around about 75 Fahrenheit, well, then you have to minus the reading of your proofreader, and you can read about that too. That's really about it, guys. It's simple, easy to use. This will produce, you know, I've pumped this up to around about 1.5 gallons an hour. Yeah, so this thing pumps it out for the ethanol, and for those in the micro distillery industry or starting up a small distillery, great unit, very inexpensive. Again, this unit can go to a 55 gallon keg, it can go to a larger size pot, or you can put it on a 15 gallon pot. I think that's about it. So, out for now.